Aaron, and hope you enjoy the show. Today we're looking at the all-new RICHMETERS 404B digital multimeter. What do you get in the box? Well, first of all, you don't get a box. No, this came in a plastic bag. However, it was well shipped, and I do thank Tony from RICHMETERS for sending this meter to me for my inspection, review, and seal of approval, or not so seal of approval. Thanks, Tony. The 404B is a auto-ranging multimeter, quite small, diminutive in size, but is it small? Does it mean it lacks power? Well, not necessarily. As we've seen in the past, a lot of multimeters don't necessarily have to be big to be useful. So let's hope that the 404B fits that model. First of all, it comes in this nice black boot, as you can see, and one thing that you'll notice off the get-go is, yes, it is tiny. For comparative sake, let's see, if I take your standard Unity, like the UT39C that we reviewed not too long ago, you can see how small it is. Now this is basic standard size multimeter, so yeah, it is small. So small it fits in the palm of your hand. Well, something like that. You get a nice set of leads. How nice are they? Well, we'll soon find out. You get a thermocouple because one of the features that this meter has is temperature. It does Celsius and Fahrenheit. And you do get a little user manual. And in the manual, pretty self-explanatory. Gives you a quick breakdown of all of the features and subsets of the meters. Speaking of features, well, it does volts AC/DC, it does millivolts, frequency, resistance up to 40 mega ohm, continuity, diode testing, temperature Celsius and Fahrenheit, non-contact voltage, and milliamps AC/DC and amps AC/DC. Does not do capacitance. Yes, that's correct. I like my capacitors, but this guy doesn't do it. Hey, that's okay. So with the meter turned on, first of all, you can see it has a pretty vibrant LCD display, and the digits are very easy on the eyes, quite easy to see. And yes, it does have a backlight. Hold down here, and voila, you can see in the dark. Here, we'll test it out. We will turn the lights out in Georgia for a second. Well, it's not really Georgia, but there you go. You get an idea that, yes, it's a pretty decent looking backlight. And just so you know, I am in my new lab, that we like to call it. So things should be getting pretty cool and interesting as far as the videos that will be coming your way. Lots of great reviews coming along, but let's get back to the task at hand, the 404B. Now, as I said, it's a really nice, crisp display. And as you can see, the light is still on. Now, that's one thing you don't see too often in El Cheapo multimeters, because yes, this is an El Cheapo. This multimeter retails for around 14 bucks. I gotta make sure, but I will double check before the video is done. And yeah, it's really nice when you have a multimeter that has a backlight that is always on, because it is so darn annoying when you're doing something and suddenly you can't see the digits. So good job, RICHMETERS, for implementing such a basic functionality which every meter should have. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to do some tests, and we'll see how accurate this little guy is. Stay tuned. Okay guys, we are ready to rumble. Got the RICHMETERS 403B on the left and the 404B RICHMETER on the right. And we're going to start actually working from the top to the bottom. We're starting off at 28.7 volts according to the power supply. And we are showing 28.8 for the 403, 21.89 for the 402. So pretty well neck and neck. Let's start taking it down now. We're at 24, down to 18 volts, 18.14 to 18.18. So about 3 counts off. Yeah, they are super duper close. Now they both say DC, so it tells you you're in the DC mode. And we are going down, down, down. Okay, let's take it down to a 7.8 volts. 7.89 for the 403, 7.89, neck and neck for the 404. All the way down. Hello, can you go? Finally, settling at 0.1 volt. And the RICHMETERs, as you tell, it is an auto-ranging meter, has basically said, I don't see any voltage anymore. And the 404B is telling us that we are sitting around, 0.010 volts. So yeah, now you can see how the 403B kind of goes a little bit crazy at this point. So it's trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So those low voltage requirements, definitely the 404B is the winner. Good stuff. Pretty well neck and neck in terms of the actual voltage, but when you get down to the little, the minuscule voltage range, yeah, you want to have something like the 404B. That's why these auto-ranging meters, yeah, they're nice to have. They're fun, but stick with the 404. Alrighty, we're gonna come back with some more tests. Be right back. Now, I didn't talk about the leads yet, so let's get into a little more detail with those. They actually feel pretty good for a cheapy set of leads. They are stating at 10 amps and Cat 2 600 volts. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put this up on 10 amps or 600 volts, but hey, for household ranges, household current, yeah, it should be fine. Feels pretty good. The plastic shrouding, not too shabby actually. Once again, for a cheapy multimeter, I'm liking it. And you can see here on the ends, yeah, they do have that extra bit of support, so they can get crinkled and wrinkled and what have you, and you know what? I think they're going to stand the test of time for a while, so yeah, I like them. There is no gauge rating on the wire itself. It is a non-branded, but hey, looks pretty good. Since we're looking at the wires, let us try my favorite, continuity. So we're going to switch to continuity mode and hit the selector switch, diode, ohms, continuity. Now, one thing I will mention, the selector switch is tiny. Yeah. I don't have the biggest fingers in the world, but I wish probably the implementation of this rotary knob was a little bit different, because you kind of got to pinch your fingers to get in there. That being said, it is pretty authoritative. Nice clackety clack. Hits those ranges with authority. I just wish the knob itself was a little less recessed and just a little more accessible. Okay, back to the continuity feature. Here we go. Any good? Soon find out. 3, 2, 1. Fooled you. Kidding. Okay, so there's definitely some delay. It's trying to latch, but it is being slowed. Not the loudest continuity sounding, but what do you think, guys? Should we try another set of cheap good leads? Hell yeah! Okay, here we go. Cheap set of good leads. What the hell's going on here? Bam. Yeah, much better, much better. See? So we are being held back by the leads that this guy ships with. Hey. Awesome. Oh, what the heck, right? Let's try the Probe Masters 2. Here we go. Yeah. No worries there. Another good set of leads. Now this is interesting. I just wanted to point this out because not necessarily does it mean when you have a really good set of leads that you've got really good continuity. So these are those amazing fluke leads. They are the twist variety, the TL175. So when you twist, you actually get a shroud, so you can increase your safety reading just by the flick of a hand. It's kind of cool. Not cheap though. I mean, these cost around 45 bucks Canadian, so around 38, 39 US. So yeah, but let's try the continuity with these. So I have to really press hard. And if I do it fast, forget it. Nothing. Misses every time. So there you go. So a good set of fluke genuine leads and some pretty crappy continuity. Interesting. Something else worth pointing out is the tilting bail, or the stand. As you can see, it doesn't go to your typical 45-degree angle. This guy, hey, goes all the way down. He's a lazy guy. Oh, lazy, lazy. I'm so lazy. What are you looking at? Sorry. Okay. But yeah, so I kind of like it for a small meter like this. It's kind of a nice, yeah, feels good. I like it. Let's do resistance, because as they say, resistance is futile. What does that mean anyway? Okay, now we're looking at resistance. I've got the decade box out, and we are sitting at 9 mega ohm. And as you can see, 9.02 is showing on the 404B, so pretty good. Let's bring it down a notch. Let's take it down to 5 mega ohm. 5.01 mega ohm, pretty well spot on. Take it a little bit lower. 1 mega ohm exactly, and 1.001 mega ohm. Now I am using the same test leads on a Kairitsu 1052Q, and I just wanted to see what it was in terms of accuracy. And look at that. So 0.999 mega ohm, so just short of 1 mega ohm. So yeah, good stuff, 404B rich meters, because this El Cheapo multimeter, in contrast to this uber expensive Kairitsu, yeah, in terms of accuracy, it's pretty well neck and neck. Awesome. And by the way, there's going to be a full review on the Q1052. I've had this meter for a little while, still doing tests, what have you, because this is definitely deserved of a really good, thorough, in-depth review. So stay tuned for that, coming in the early spring of 2019, the Kairitsu 1052 review. Okay, I'm going to pull out the Fluke demo board, and we'll give this guy a quick run through here. Start off with the 0.5% resistor. And my hand slipped. Tried again. Was spot on. 0.5. That was the 22 mega ohm resistor. Once again, 5%. 23.15. Now, one thing I do like about this meter is the fact that it's pretty quick to range, so not a whole lot of settling going on. Try that one more time. Yeah, so not bad. This does not do capacitance, so we will bypass that entirely. Go to diode mode. And let's just see. And there we are. There's the forward voltage drop, and no problems there. So good stuff, 404B. Okay, we're in diode mode right now, and according to the manual, the output diode voltage should be approximately 3 volts. However, according to Mr. Keysight, we are showing a 2.2 volt output in diode mode. So that's short, almost a volt. And let's try it. Let's see just how bad that is. Now this blue LED here is around 3 volts. So let's see. Can we light up this blue one? Or are we not going to have any success? Here we go. And indeed, it is not lighting up. Let's make sure we're not the... Nothing. Nothing. So, theoretically, it should be working. I will try the green one. This one is... green one is around 1.8 volts. Let's see here. 1.8 volts, indeed. But it is not illuminating. We are getting a forward voltage drop, though. Let's try the red. And I don't know if you can hear that, but we're getting some interesting little chirps going on here. I'm not sure why. Okay, try the red LED. And just reverse it. Might have it the wrong way. Probably do. and no. So nothing. Oh, that's my fault. Yeah, boy. Sorry, guys. Try it again. God. Okay, so it is lighting up the red LED, and we are getting a forward voltage drop here around 1.7 volts. So, yeah. I do have a white one. Let's just try that quickly. Normally I have my little LED strip lined up, but once again, I am in the process of moving into this new lab, and I cannot find it at the moment, so doing it old school here. But yeah, so cannot light up that white LED, and that is also 2.8 volts. So yeah, a little bit disappointing. Once again, they are stating a 3 volt output on the diode mode, and we're only getting 2.2. So if you do a lot of diode testing, you might want to pass on this guy. Okay, so one of the neat features about this little guy is the fact that it does ship with a thermocouple. And we are presently in the temperature mode in the Celsius range, and indeed we are showing 19 degrees Celsius. And yeah, that is correct. To go into Fahrenheit mode, just hit the select switch, and 66 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is cool. Now, unfortunately, if you take out the thermocouple, ta-da! Guess what? Yeah, for ambient room temperature, you don't need the thermocouple. It's strictly for, you know, liquid, fire, whatever you want to call it. But for ambient temperature readings, yeah, it works perfectly well without the thermoprobe attached. So that's always a bonus. And as always, what would a cheap multimeter be without NCV? It just wouldn't be a cheap multimeter now, would it? Of course, we are in EF mode, non-contact voltage. And the whole idea of this is to give you some sort of an indicator that there is current or power at a source. So let's see, how well does it work? Yeah. Yeah. Da-dum-da-dum. Okay, so that is a complete and utter fail. So much for MCV. Another cool feature is the fact that this will do frequency while you are in AC mode. Being a true RMS multimeter, just hit down on the select switch when you're in AC mode, and it will automatically go to frequency. There you go. So yeah, that's handy dandy. The fine folks at RICHMETERS are so kind as to tell you to, come on, let's go. Gotta get a close-up on this one here. Yes, stop testing the voltage in current mode. How many times have we got to tell you this, guys? No, it's actually pretty good that they put that there for those new people into electronics, because yeah, that's always a really good way to blow a fuse. Okay, coming up next, we're going to take a look inside the 404 and just see what's hiding. Be right back. Something quickly worth mentioning is the fact that when you have the backlight enabled, you also have a little flashlight. So once again, how good is the flashlight? Well, yeah, it's okay. Not really bright. I don't know how useful that would be. I mean, I think you're getting just as much light from the front of the display as you are the back, to be quite honest, but Okay, so as you can see, the 404B does take 2 AAA batteries. I always like to see AAAs as opposed to anything else, just because they do last a heck of a lot longer. And a really big bonus here is we do have a nice threaded insert, so if you end up changing the batteries every other day, you don't have to worry about screwing up the back of the meter. Good stuff, RICHMETERS. Okay, let's plop it over. What do we see? Wow! Check it out. Yeah, I hope you guys can see that these are some small little ceramic fuses, but yeah, that is actually a 10 amp fuse. Alrighty, so on the current side of things, let's start off with the inputs themselves. They are the split variety. soldered into the PCB, and doesn't look so bad. Looks pretty clean, actually. Yeah, no worries there. They're shrouded in this hard plastic casing, so they're not going anywhere. And what do we have? We have a 10 amp fuse, as I showed you. Small, minute. I gotta say, this is probably one of the smallest ceramic fuses I've ever seen. I mean, this is pretty well as small as you can get. Wow, super small. Now, what else do we have for input protection on the current side of things? We have this tiny little current shunt. We have a couple of resistor clamps here and some diode clamping going on. Now, it says D1, D2. We are missing D1, so we have one diode. Just want to verify that indeed this is all on the current side of things, and yeah, yes indeed it is. So that is our current source input protection, the diode, the resistor array, and our 10 amp fuse and our current shunt. So not so bad for a cheapy multimeter. Looking at the voltage side of things, what do we have? Well, we have another minute, tiny little fuse, rated at 500 milliamps, 250 volts. And once again, we do have a resistor array here, resistor clamping going on, and we do have one little PTC. So, yeah, it is tiny, but at least it's there. So, there we go. Just get rid of that. Going down the line, nice and clean PCB. No flux residue, nothing. There's the battery pads. Those are pretty big, and almost looks like it's gold plated too. That I like. The version date on this meter is, do we have a version date? There we are, July 5th, 2018. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the infamous DreamTech International IC that we see on so many of our multimeters these days. Closing thoughts on the RICHMETERS 404B. Well, it is a mixed bag. You know, what do I like about it? I like the fact that it's small, that it's pretty user-friendly, fast, it auto-ranges quickly, settles nicely. There's not a lot of fluttering going on with some of the El Cheapo multimeters around in terms of like resistance measuring. It's pretty quick to make a measurement. I like that. It is missing something called capacitance, which I use all the time, so that's a definite negative. Has temperature. Not a lot of meters in this price range do have temperature, so that is a big bonus. And the fact that it has an onboard built-in temperature sensor is another bonus, because you don't have to use the thermocouple if you just want to measure the ambient temperature. So yeah, kudos for them for that. NCV was a total flop. Get rid of it. You know, guys, I don't even know why you keep coming out with this feature. Don't need it. So you know, do something else. I'd rather see capacitance here and no NCV. And I'm sure there's a lot of guys in electronics who like to see the same thing. So, yeah. Backlight is great. Stays on a long time. It does not stay on permanently, but it does stay on a long time. I'm counting around at least 5 to 10 minutes. It's interesting, but has the auto power off, which can be disabled. Another bonus. The rotary switch, a little too small for my liking. I wish it was a little bit bigger. It is true RMS, but most cheapo multimeters nowadays are. It's not really such a big thing as it used to be. Probes it ships with are pretty nice. You know, it is a mixed bag. I'm going to give the RICHMETERS 404B a solid 3 out of 5. That's a pretty decent protection. And, you know, generally speaking, yeah, I think this can definitely be a pretty decent choice for some folks out there. Biggest negative for me was the fact that it was only outputting 2.2 volts when it should be doing 3. So if you do a lot of diode testing, you're going to want to pass on this one. Hey, thanks to you, Tony, out at RICHMETERS, for sending this for my review perusal. And everybody out there, it's going to be a great Christmas. A lot more videos. And once again, like I said, I am in a new lab, so things are just kind of getting straightened back to the norm. And a lot more great videos coming your way. So if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and as always, yeah, you got it. Keep on testing.